You're listening to The Burning Truth. I'm your host, Matt Burns. With me, I've got my co-host with me, as always, John Ballore.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's just cut to the chase and just get down to business. In case if anybody was just listening a few seconds ago, you may have actually noticed that we've gone live for the second time. Yes, we had a technical glitch.
We went through a tunnel, ladies and gentlemen. It happens. We're back now.
We're back, and
this time, hopefully, everything's working. And as you may or may not have heard me say the first time, we've got a shed load of stuff, a list as long as your arm of things to talk about this week. It's been quite a busy one, so we're going to rattle through them as fast as we can because we're well aware Hell in a Cell is on the horizon, and we can't take up too much of your time. As much as, trust me, we really want to, because there's plenty to talk about.
There is that much to talk about. The fact is, it's just wow.
I, for one, am hoping nothing at all happens this entire week so that we can use all of next week's show to talk about this week as well, because we're going to need that much time.
Pretty much.
I know I've got no chance of that happening, but hey. So, with that in mind, let's get on, shall we? I believe, first things first, we have some British wrestling news.
That we do, and we'll just cut down to business, shall we? Which is the fact that if anybody wonders why I'm probably sounding achy, don't sound 100%, there's a good reason why.
Yeah, there is. Mr. Matt Burns has been in the squared circle this very evening.
Correct. Which was
for
Pro
Wrestling for You,
which was at Oscar Mania 2, which we actually did the show at Port Vale Football Club, which was actually a charity show for the Don Louise charity.
Marvellous. Bit of charity work never does anyone any harm. So, in the name of raising money for good causes, what did you do? Yeah, obviously, I know you had a wrestling match, but people want a bit more details than that.
Yeah, six-person tag match.
Okay, and tell us who was in it, besides you.
It was myself, Luna Ross, and Dre.
Okay.
Versus Troy Gruce.
Yep.
Beyond! And Harley Harris.
There's a ring full. Now, please explain exactly what happened that led to you sounding like you have gone about an hour of Hell in a Cell with Braun Strowman.
Take into account at one point the managed to catch me off guard and they decided to beat on me.
As in all three of the opposition team?
Pretty much. You know, so somebody has to take one for the team. It looks like it was my choice this time.
It seems that happens to everyone sometimes. For the rest of the show, in honour, I will refer to you as Matt Woods.
I like it. And all I'll say to you is, for some of the stuff that did actually happen in that match, I actually, as much as we can be explicit and everything on our show, believe me when I say this, some things that I looked at that happened during that match. How did that happen?
Well, if you don't know, how am I supposed to? I wasn't there.
All I'm just going to say is, one poor soul, Bjorn, got pretty much tied up, and to the point where he was wrapped up like a pretzel. Couldn't get his
Ouch.
hands free.
That's frankly the last kind of predicament you want to find yourself in.
True,
Or if
true,
not the
true.
last, then probably in the bottom 3 in
It
the
gets
list.
worse.
I
And
don't
bear
see
in
how it
mind, this
possibly
was
could.
This was a family show.
Was it? Were you pushing the boundaries of that to the absolute breaking point?
It wasn't me.
Well, I meant your match, but yes, okay.
It wasn't me. All I'll say to you is, Drill thought he had KFC, some chicken to give out to the crowd. However, Troy, being the gentleman that he has been at Pro Wrestling for You, stating that healthy eating is nothing but better, decided to switch the bucket from chicken to carrots.
Interesting.
All I'm going to say is Bjorn isn't exactly... It's probably... It's the one who's paid the price for the switcheroo that Troy did.
I see. Let's just leave it there. But I think people have incredibly fertile imaginations listening to this show, so I think they can work out for themselves where you were going with that. We don't have to elaborate anymore. Needless to say, I feel sorry for the carrots.
It's one time where I actually felt sorry for my opponent and the carrot.
Yes.
I don't know who lost out. I don't know who won, or who got it worse.
You know, who lost out more?
Yeah.
A fully grown professional wrestler or a small inanimate orange thing? It's a tough call.
It was. But all I'll say to you is I believe that somebody mentioned, there could be a T-shirt for that or something like that. So,
would The Rock be proud? Was the carrot polished up real nice and turned sideways? Is all I'm going at with this.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Let's leave that right there.
And let's just get on with it.
Did your team win? That is the important question.
Spoilers.
Oh, of course.
Spoilers, especially as the show was recorded and will most likely be up for online viewing. So if anybody's interested in checking that out, please check it out by checking out their social media, of course, because as soon as it does come out, I'm pretty sure that Pro Wrestling for You will make everyone aware of it. And I can honestly say is the entire show caught me by surprise. There is a lot of twists and turns that you never see coming.
Pretty much a metaphor for this week in wrestling, then.
Pretty much.
Yeah, if you can get yourself on the... No, don't get yourself on the Burning Truth social media. Get yourself on the Pro Wrestling social media, and as soon as that show drops, get on it like a fat kid on cake or something. Basically, watch it. You won't. But we won't.
It sounds like we are having some technical difficulties. We do apologise for that. But unfortunately, all I will just say is
can you hear?
It sounded a little bit robotic. We do apologise for that below. I'm just literally doing a few quick checks now, so hopefully to try and get that minimised as soon as possible.
Right, I've done a few little technical checks my end. Is that better?
There we go. I believe we may have actually fixed the issue. All I will just say is we normally do this,
but we've got a lot to talk about, and we can possibly help it. So tell them to sell tonight. I think we're going to do them now, are we not?
Pretty much, and it sounds like we're still getting a bit of the robotic echoiness, but we'll have to push on, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, due to the short time frame. All I will say is the interesting thing about the predictions is it doesn't actually spoil any of the news,
which is quite something.
It's basically doing us a favour.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because we get our predictions out of the way, and then we can talk about everything else, and the two mercifully don't tread on each other's toes.
Pretty much.
Right, and also it's going to be quite short predictions because so far on the night of the show, with about an hour to go, 4 matches announced.
Yeah.
So unless ththey're all 1 hour Iron Man matches, it's going to be a fairly short short evening.
Yeah. Potentially.
Anyway,
All I'll say to you is there could be one spoiler of it because there'll be an incoming rant about it
yes.
for this week's SmackDown. But it's nothing special. It's nothing new. It's something that WWE have been doing on and off again for a while.
Indeed. So, without further ado, what is the first of the 4 matches so far announced?
The only thing about it is we're going to hit off with the thing that's going to cause me going to my soapbox again. Oh, not again.
Oh, right.
For the first time.
For the first time of many this evening. Would
Pretty
that
much.
involve the WWE Championship by any chance?
Oh, no. We're saving that one for later.
Oh dear, that's the second outing at
That's
the
the
very
big one.
least of the soapbox.
That's the big one.
Yeah. Okay, what are we
Or-
starting with then?
We're going to start off with the predictions because we might as well get it out.
Well,
and
no,
done
that's what I'm
with.
saying. Which match in the predictions
The
are we
match that
starting?
we're going to
Sorry.
predict is the
Yeah.
singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship
Pitting Bailey against
versus
Charlotte again.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. What reason are they going to... Bearing in mind that it was pretty much, with the exception of that it went about 10 minutes, not long enough, the perfect match last time out with the right result, what shenanigans are they going to pull this time?
Do you know the reason why they got into this match?
Because...
A tag match on SmackDown this week.
Yes.
Which was Flair and Lynch against Bailey and Banks, and Flair tapped out Bailey. That's it.
Yes. Well, at least there's fairly sensible foundations by wrestling standards for why they're having the match. But that doesn't mean I care, sadly.
It's
Okay, I
weird.
predict...
It's weird because it's a weird one because with Charlotte Flair, she keeps getting title matches after title matches. Supposedly that, champions shouldn't be getting rematches. Yeah, she isn't the champion, but she's somehow getting title match after title match.
Yeah.
And I'll be ranting about somebody who's constantly getting title matches later on.
Incredibly
As well.
sledgehammer subtle hint there. Anyway, I predict Bailey will retain. I'm just be interested to see how they do it, bearing in mind, like I say, they did it last month. They don't really like repeating themselves, but they're in serious danger of doing it.
Yep, Bailey to retain.
Okay.
I know.
Right, moving
Shock.
on.
A match I'm actually very much interested in.
What, for more than just sort of morbid car crash curiosity reasons?
Yeah, because this one's actually got a bit of story behind it.
Ah, is it the Universal Championship match?
No, it's not. It's not a non-championship match.
Ooh.
A tag team match. Pitting Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper.
Yeah, this has got a lot of storyline behind it. And not for the reasons you'd think, if you're sort of a casual dip in and out kind of viewer.
It's a unique one, and I can honestly say, it's weird how they've done it.
Yeah.
It's weird how they got into it, but it's opened that match up even more.
Are we, is WWE acknowledging the existence of the Bludgeon Brothers at this point, or is that just like...
Eric Rowan and Luke Harper is the actual name.
Yeah, so they're not being referred to as that, no?
No.
Okay, then. But they've given them both their full names back.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What is going on?
I don't know, but this promises to be quite an interesting match.
Would you like me to go first?
You are welcome to.
And this match surprised people.
I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say, but I'll just let you say it.
I'm going to pick Eric Rowan and Luke Harper.
I did know what you were going to say, and disappointingly, it's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh dear.
They've brought the team back together for a reason.
Well, you give me your reason, and I'll give you mine.
My reason is they've brought the team back together for a reason. They're obviously going to hope for that, with or without the name Bludgeon Brothers. They pick up where they left off when they were that.
Yeah.
When they were the most dominant SmackDown Tag Team Champions for a while. And the easiest way to get momentum is wins. Especially over names. And though they don't have particular history as a tag team, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns are pretty much as big as names get.
Yeah.
That's my reason. What's yours?
I can see a swerve.
You can see new third member of the Bludgeon Brothers.
Or a hidden member.
New, somewhat shorter than the other two member.
Yeah.
With a big beard.
Yeah.
And not even remotely Samoan.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know if that will happen, but if it does, I can see you're working out. I can understand why you reached that conclusion.
But the thing is, it'll be very, very... It's like history repeating itself, but on the flip side.
Yeah.
Especially since the last time Daniel Bryan did such a quick turnaround was on Eric Rowan and Luke Harper.
Yes.
With Bray Wyatt around.
When
it was I believe, the Wyatt family.
Yes. However, another theory I've just thought of that is heavily unlikely to happen, but I just want to put it out there just in case, so that people can go, he was right, on the 1,000,000 to 1 shot that it does happen.
Go on.
Rowan and Harper are joined by Roman Reigns, who forms the new Shield.
No,
I know it's not going to happen, but be interesting, wouldn't it?
It would.
Finally actually turning Reigns heel properly as a singles competitor, because yes, the Shield were heels when they started, but as a singles competitor, I don't think he ever has been. So that would be quite interesting.
He's had heelish moments.
Yes.
Which I think is when he's at his best, when he actually gets to cut his teeth into a promo.
Just break loose, and yeah.
The scary thing about it is, and I know Roman Reigns gets a lot of flack for being forced down people's throats and everything, and this is why I actually genuinely feel sorry for Roman Reigns, in the sense of, I actually think he is one of the hardest working people there.
He absolutely is.
The guy knows how to have entertaining matches.
Yeah.
He can talk when he's given the pressure.
Something worth talking about, and he's given a reason to care.
Yeah.
Is it just me as well? Possibly slightly controversial take here, but hey, this is the burning truth. This is what we do. We put these things out there for you guys to talk about. Did the time off he had for fighting leukemia do him a favour? Massively. Because he's been off our screens. We've had respite from him being shoved down our throats every week.
Basically,
he's now used as a bit more of a star attraction, like he's not shoved down our throats every week. And I think he is has better standing from the vocal minority because of it.
It's not from the vocal minority. I think it's possibly due to a certain line that Jim Cornette says best.
Go on.
He says, if you ever want to get re-liked again, go away.
Oh, absolutely. That was the point I was making. Yeah.
Go away and give enough time for the crowd to miss you.
Yes. I think the illness did that, definitely. Whether it was intentional or not, obviously. He didn't intend to be ill. Obviously, leukemia is not something to joke about, and I'm not. Before anyone gets on that bandwagon,
True.
but
And
the
yes,
point
he
I'm
did.
merely trying to make is yes, the time away absolutely did him far more good than staying on WWE TV week after week would have done.
True, and he did also manage to doing some recording for a film as well.
Well, a little bit of money on the side. Can't fault that.
But the thing is, there's no doubt, I don't even think WWE would actually fake something like that. Not once. And
No,
it is,
not even for a second.
And what makes it weirder is this is, I believe, it's not is it his first bout or second bout?
Whose?
Roman Reigns.
What, since he's come back?
I think it was actually his second bout against leukemia. I believe. I think.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Not 100% sure. If you do know, let us know in the comments and everything.
Get in touch
Let
and
us
let us
know.
know.
Make this a conversation. But the thing
Absolutely.
is, about it, I think he is a workhorse. Genuinely.
Yeah.
By the way, before this turns into the
Roman Reigns appreciation show,
episode,
we'll said
push
that
on.
we think Harper and Rowan are going to win that match, so we need to get on to the third match of the 4 that have been announced so far, and then wrap the predictions up because we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. So the third
Pretty
match
much.
is
Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship.
Sasha Banks against Becky Lynch, the boss versus the man.
Go on. Would you care to go first?
Yes. I'm not sure that this is going to be an awfully popular decision, either by me or by WWE, who are going to do it, but Banks to win. Simply because coming back with all the fanfare Banks came back with and all the huge amount of effort that WWE are obviously putting behind it, 2 successive pay-per-view losses, and that's as good as dead, and she's pretty much unrecoverable. Irrespective of how much you want to build her up as a badass that loses every time the going gets tough ain't one.
True.
So,
but I don't think WWE are done with the run yet.
now, do you know what I think is going to happen, honestly? Because WWE I think that it was mentioned that Sasha has been in a Hell in a Cell match before.
Yeah.
Do you remember around about the time that her and Charlotte were in the Hell in a Cell match, what WWE did?
Go on.
What was it 5 consecutive months on pay-per-view? The title changed hands back and forth between the 2 of them. I've got a feeling that might happen.
I don't.
Oh, okay. The thing is, though, WWE are trying to build, the women as being, quite rightly, on a par with the men. Charlotte's out there on her own. What is she, a 10-time champion?
Yeah.
Of the current active roster, who's next? Is it Alexa Bliss 5 times? And Sasha's got 4 maybe. And Becky is maybe a 2-time champion. I'm thinking they're gonna hotshot it over the next few months in order that they've got another couple of 7 or 8 times champions, so that
Becky Lynch
well,
is time.
Ah, okay.
Because you've got to take into account she's won the WWE SmackDown. She was the first one.
First ever SmackDown Women's Champion, yeah.
Yeah. She's also won the WWE Raws.
She's also won... And she won Raw and
Jewel.
SmackDown at the same time. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to hotshot them.
I don't.
Okay. You also, by the sounds of it, don't think Sasha's winning.
As much as part of me wants to agree with you, which would make this prediction very boring.
Yeah.
Knowing WWE's track record, I actually can't agree with you.
Really? You think they're going to waste all that effort in building Sasha back up and just have her lose again? Or are you calling massive non-clean finish?
I'm expecting Becky Lynch to leave with the championship, but it's going to be quite literally by the skin of her teeth.
Interesting.
By quite literally the skin of her teeth.
Okay.
Because as much
Fair
as
enough.
I understand that they've been quite big on Sasha and Bayley and everything, I just feel as though they're not done with Becky Lynch yet.
I'm not saying they are. This is what I'm saying. I think they're going to hotshot the title between the two of them, build it up as the hottest thing going, and then...
Yeah.
Like, I personally think if they do that, Sasha will come out on top as being the one that holds it at the end. But that doesn't mean Becky is done. I just think that it means she'll move on to...
Yeah.
You know...
What being transferred over to SmackDown?
Not necessarily. Just a cooling off period, like, you know...
Oh, you mean the
Alexa Bliss is currently having, away
Yeah.
from the title picture,
Well,
but
she's
not
in
necessarily
a title
any
picture.
less important.
She's
Like
WWE
Alexa Bliss has
Women's
had.
Tag
You
Team
know what
Champion.
you know what I mean. She's got the tag team titles, but not the singles. You know,
Yeah.
that's what they do with the guys quite a lot. Here, have a
True,
tag
true,
team
true.
title run.
True, but then again, it's something that Charlotte hasn't had properly yet. Downtown Tonic, properly. But then again,
Possibly.
not dissing Charlotte Flair, she is an absolute athlete.
Yeah.
Credit where credit is due. I think this should be the match. I think Bayley vs Charlotte Flair should be the match that we deserve from the last show.
Absolutely. It
So-
needs to be.
Yeah. But anyway, back on to Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. I'm picking Becky Lynch. You're picking Sasha Banks.
Yeah, that's good. We need a bit of jeopardy because if we all pick exactly the same for every match, then nobody can win, and it's
Yeah.
pointless, really. So yeah, I'm good with that. Right, the final match. Must we? I'm afraid yes, we must.
Yeah, we do. Final match, which is none other than Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Universal Championship. Very interesting match, this is.
Sorry, I'm back. There was a knock on the door. Some guy asking me to let him in. I think it was harmless. Seemed like a nice enough guy.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Well, it was fairly transparent, wasn't it? Yeah. This is going to be about a year and a half too late. The crowning glory of Bray Wyatt. And everything that he was just looking like he might possibly be starting to get last time when, for reasons best known to themselves, WWE management sent Randy Orton in to kick the wheels out from under him.
Yeah. But then again, he's done that a few times.
Yeah.
So
This will be an absolute barn burner. This will be brutal beyond words. This will go very, very long. And when the bell rings and the smoke clears, your winner and new Universal Champion,
are you
well,
ready for this?
the Fiend, whatever they call him, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, The Fiend Bray Wyatt
Yes.
is what you're picking.
Yeah.
My prediction.
Go on.
As much as I'd love to disagree with you,
for the sake of a bit of on-air tension. Yep.
I can't.
Ooh. So you think the same?
And there's a reason why.
Go on.
Rumour has it that down the road for potentially Survivor Series, they are going to pit WWE Universal Champion against WWE Champion.
Ooh.
And that's all I'm going to say.
I like that rumour, and I'm just going to leave that there.
That's all we're going to say. So with this, it looks like we're both going with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
Yes, which means there's only one divulgence in the 4 matches, so we'll have to see how that goes later on.
Pretty much.
But we need to move on because we've got 25 minutes until the pre-show starts, and we haven't even scratched the surface.
But the predictions are done. Anyway,
Yes.
I believe you actually had a topic you wanted to... So, moving on now, I believe that you had a topic that you wanted to cover.
I did, and it's going to be brief because we don't have a great deal of time. I maybe need to go back to this and come to it in the future again, but just briefly now.
Or better yet, we'll cover it possibly in a special.
I think we possibly may have to. We shall see. But just briefly now, what I want to mention is bodies have been broken, necks bruised, careers ended in an instant. Yes, this is entertainment, but the hazards are real. No matter who you are, whatever you do, please don't try this at home. Unless you're trying to shill WWE 2K20, in which case, what the hell? RKO a mannequin in the middle of a shopping centre. Who the hell cares? Seriously? WWE, you are getting seriously mixed metaphors here. My entire childhood, I was repeatedly told, quite rightly, I might add, don't try this at home. Which was later expanded to don't try this at home, at school, or anywhere.
Yeah, and let me just add this on. My body is a clear indication why not to try this at home.
Seriously, I actually went to a fully certified, insured wrestling training school and tried it properly under the tutelage of experts, and my knees will testify that even when you have said experts and the best training that you can pay for, you still don't want to try it unless you're either cut out for wrestling or you're not.
And the thing is, you were actually cut out for it. It's just bad timing happened. But anyway,
yeah. Anyway, the point here being, many years, don't try this at home. And then, what's the slogan for 2K20? There's a superstar in everyone, and somebody RKO's a shop mannequin, and various other things that jar horribly with the whole idea of don't try this at home. To which, I know the naysayers will say, but they're not doing it to actual people, it's in a video game. Yeah, the guy RKO in a mannequin wasn't a character in the game. It was a real person really doing it. And that's what makes me quite confused and a little bit angry.
No comment over the slogan, because that just sounds... All I'll say to you is the adults are probably going to be thinking, huh? Anybody with dirty minds is going to be going, really? And then, we need to keep it innocent.
Yes, of course. WWE, though their mind often resides well below the gutter, will claim innocence with that slogan and not pretend not to have a clue what you mean by that. And I'm not going to go there because, hey, family show. But yeah, I just wanted to raise the whole contradiction of don't try this at home unless it's for a computer game, which we're trying to shill to make money.
Although I do think the other advert is interesting.
The legends disagreeing politely over who the man is. Yeah, that one's good. I like that one.
I like that one. To have Becky Lynch come crashing through.
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting is that Roman Reigns acknowledges the entrance,
Yes.
and he isn't disagreeing,
No.
which is a bit of a nice plug from Roman to Becky Lynch.
Absolutely.
It is a bit of show of respect, but at the same time, people are going to be saying, "But what the hell's Roman Reigns doing there?"
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sure you've got a reason why. And so if I just lumber in here at this point and say, what's Sheamus doing there, for that matter, I'm sure that's not the way you were going with this, but
No,
he's
all
also there.
He is, but all I'll say to you is, they're all former WWE champions.
Oh, that's what Sheamus is doing there. Fair enough.
There you go. That's what I'm putting it down to.
That's fair enough then,
That's
yeah.
what I'm telling myself, that's what I'm sticking to, and that's it.
Go for it. So, yeah, I just wanted to... I wondered if anyone else had noticed this sort of bizarre paradox.
Yeah.
Or if it's just my twisted brain.
True. And
Put it in a
No.
message on the Burning Truth social media if you have an opinion on this, people.
true. And there may become a special from that little idea. Who knows? We may even cover wrestling adverts or non-wrestling adverts.
Who knows?
Who knows? That's for another time to tell.
Hashtag Brock Lesnar F5ing a shark. Right, let's move on.
Let's move on. WWE has released a new show.
They have? Yeah, I've heard about it. Apparently it's really interesting. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. Next, I think.
No,
It's all
no,
yellow
not that
and wrestling-y.
Not that one. We'll get to that.
I jest, of course.
We'll get to that. It is a YouTube special show,
Yeah.
which will be live every Wednesday. Well, depending on where you're probably listening to, watching the episode and everything. But
I can imagine it'll be available to watch after it's broadcast live as well, but it'll be first shown on Wednesdays.
Yeah, correct. It's usually first shown on Wednesday, which is called WWE The Bump.
Not a promising title, gotta be honest.
It's not, but hear me out. I actually watched it myself.
Okay. And were you mystified as the secret inner workings of the magician's world were laid bare? Oh, sorry, wrong track. Something I watched last
Sort
night.
of.
Never mind, carry on.
Sort of, actually.
Ah,
Because
okay.
we got to see, because all the people who were on, they did state that they were fans, but some of them were actually under WWE, payroll, potentially. But they weren't your typical usual hosts. I believe everybody who was not a guest on the show wasn't really a wrestler, or people, names that really weren't really well known. Some of them actually reporters who mentioned about people being injured and everything. It was an interesting concept, and the fact is, they even took a joke at their own name in regards to the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did, and they actually got a bit of humour and character on it. And the fact that the first guest on there was none other than current WWE Universal Champion, Seth Rollins.
As of recording, which is tonight, the night of Hell in a Cell, before the show happens.
Yeah, correct. And the interesting thing about it is they ended up doing a bit of back and forth, and with Rollins even mentioned some of his past about him being a massive Hogan fan, wrestling with his Hogan plush toy,
Yeah.
and everything with actual footage.
Which leads us nicely later on into what happened on Raw.
That it does. And on top of that, they even presented Seth Rollins with the original NXT Championship belt.
The very original first one.
Yeah, because he was the inaugural.
Yeah, he was the inaugural champion, and it's since been redesigned, so
Yeah.
nice.
And As they did that, they decided to get somebody on the line using almost the same technology as us, but with video on their end. With the
Was
current
it the
NXT
most
champion.
successful NXT champion ever, Bo Dallas?
Nope, the current NXT champion,
Oh.
Adam Cole, baby.
No,
Sorry,
really?
I know how much you hated it, but
Yeah.
here's the thing.
What?
It broke a bit of a certain wall. I'm not going to state what wall it was. It wasn't the first, second, or third. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm saying. And it allowed them to pay respect to each other. As much as, Adam Cole pretty much, looked like he was taking shots at Seth straight from the get-go. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? And then the interesting possible Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins. But do you know what the interesting fact from the show was?
Go on.
This was done on Wednesday.
Yes.
Before a certain yellow branded show.
You mean before the proper live debut of 2-hour NXT on USA?
Correct. And Seth Rollins gave a prediction and stated he was even though that Adam Cole was taking shots at him, he was in his corner for tonight. For that night.
For that night, for Wednesday. Ooh, interesting.
And even took pot shots at Matt Riddle.
Yeah,
Blatantly.
not exactly what you'd call professional.
Well, not actual direct pot shots. It was sort of possibly hinting on Matt Riddle's social media. And it also showed that Matt Riddle has heat at the moment in time. But we digress in regards to that. But
No, I was going to make a very near the knuckle joke there about Matt Riddle, but family show.
Family show. All I'm just going to state is this. It's an interesting idea. Check it out.
Yeah, watch it. See what you think. See if it makes you go, now there's a talking point, as much as it did Matt Burns.
Correct. And the fact is, if you disagree with me or anything, let me know. If you think it was rubbish or anything, let us know.
If you think it was a waste of 5 minutes of your life that you'll never get back, on a par with the WWE Network exclusive The Botch Club, presented by Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, I want that back.
Really? It was dreadful.
I want that back, I mean properly.
It was dreadful, and they've got potty mouths. Worse than your former co-host when it comes to profanity.
No idea what you're going to put there.
Well, anyway, they were incredibly profane, and as good a concept as it was, lacked something in the execution, I felt. But anyway.
Yeah, but the thing is, I felt as though that was more of a mockumentary when they did it. Do you know when I thought it was brilliant?
Go on.
When Ziggler had his downloads, the so-called downloads, which was like a being framed.
Uh-huh.
Because Ziggler was damn well entertaining on that.
Huh.
He was.
Well, WWE needs more stuff that is, how can we put it, not wrestling related.
Why not? But anyway, we digress. Let's get down to business, because we've now got to talk about Wednesday night again.
Oh, have we ever?
But for multiple reasons.
Yes. The first of which being...
Shall we cut to the chase and just go to what you've been dying to talk about?
Yes, we should, except you're going to have to remind me, because I've had a wrestler's worst nightmare. I'm out on the stage. My music has faded out. I have a mic in my hand. I'm holding it up to my lips, and blankness and tumbleweeds is all that is going through my mind.
All I'm going
And I can't remember a
is...
damn thing of what I was supposed to be saying to you lovely people right here in Cleveland, Ohio. Cheap pop.
Even though we're not in Cleveland, Ohio.
I know, but that's a famous one that Mick Foley used when he was.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, the point is, what was I so desperate to talk about? Because I've completely forgotten, as if that wasn't obvious enough.
A yellow brand.
What? The yellow brand?
The yellow brand.
The preeminent gold standard in sports entertainment. Thank you, Mauro Ranallo. NXT.
Love it.
Going live on the USA Network. And let's see. Dave Meltzer's star rating machine blew up with the first episode.
Potentially, yeah.
An epic show from top to bottom, starting with an NXT Championship match. I mean, come on. Oh, yes.
Yep. You heard that.
And from the NXT Championship match, at the start, which we briefly discussed before, through to the end, it was everything you've come to know and love from NXT, turned up to 11.
It was. Back and forth, and regardless of it, we're not going to mention spoilers because as much as we'd love to.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you are not in mainland USA and you cannot watch USA Network, still available in its entirety in full on the WWE Network every Wednesday night.
Directly after it's aired.
Yes. So we can't basically state strongly enough, or at least I can't, if you've been one of those kinds of people, I think there's, 4 or 5 of them on the planet, who have so far gone, "Ooh, that NXT looks interesting, but I've not got round to watching it yet."
Check it out.
Watch it. Get it done. You will not regret it.
As much as we don't normally do spoilers on here, and we're not going to be mentioning the matches, we've got to cover 2 points.
Yep.
And that is because they are returns.
Returns? Yeah, they don't interfere with any matches. They don't... Telling you who the returns are doesn't spoil any of the rest of the show, because we're not going to tell you the point of the show when they returned and what was happening at the time or anything like that. It's just people who you will get excited about are back on NXT.
One of them I didn't see coming at all. And the other one,
we knew it was coming, we just didn't know when, and, well, what better time than the live 2-hour debut on network television.
Correct. And loved it.
Loved it, top to bottom.
Loved it.
So, yeah. So we're not going to say who the surprises are. Or are we?
I think we should.
Really?
I think we should.
Shall we take the risk on the basis that it might be the case that no one will survive, so no one will remember us anyway?
Or we could just always just join a certain club.
What, a club that's for everyone?
Yeah. Nah, you know what, let's just... Do you want to spoil it or not?
I think if no one's got it from that, we shouldn't ruin it for them anymore.
And that's all we're just going to say. Just to speed things up.
Yes, we have to move on, because basically, also, the start of the Wednesday Night War, because you briefly also want to talk about AEW Impact. No, Explosion. No.
Wednesday Night Dynamite. And, wow. No,
turns out comparisons to TNA Explosion couldn't be more wide of the mark. If the producer's name was Mark.
AEW have got to be damn well proud of what they've produced.
They have produced, by all accounts, and I have only seen a minute and a half highlight package, so I can't speak for the whole show, but they have genuinely pulled out all the stops and produced a stone cold rival for NXT in terms of depth and quality of product, which... round of applause, because competition is what WWE need, and by golly, I think they've got it.
not only that, the commentary team. By God.
Well, we've got to get on our collective high horses about the apparent rejigging of the WWE main roster commentary teams in a bit, so this will be a nice segue into that. But yeah, AEW seem to have picked the perfect blend.
It's basically one of WCW's best commentators.
Somebody who was in WCW and then became one of WWE, or the WWF as it was then's best commentators.
Oh no! I was actually referring to just the former WCW, which is.
I know, but I'm saying this. Oh yeah, I was say the second member of the team. Yeah,
you were.
But fair enough.
I'll stick to the first one, which is none other than Tony Schiavone.
Schiavone, I think.
Schiavone. I apologise if I butchered it. I can also say, absolutely brilliant on AEW.
Yeah,
you can
alongside
see why he hasn't missed a damn beat. And when spewing out the facts, boom, 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 boom. Especially, he was on point when it came to the next segment. When it's what was so nice is the fact that he was actually doing it. He was basically covering what JR used to do on WWE. Right?
Yes, and that's who I was referring to.
It must have been. So, a bit like what WWE, JR used to do on Raw.
On Raw, yeah. Making the points, keeping the viewers informed, and generally being the person who knows what they're talking about and has seen the running order for the show and is holding it all together.
Correct. Doing absolutely amazing. And who is he with? Oh, wait, I've just already mentioned his name.
None other than
good old JR.
WWE legend Jim Ross.
Right.
Who was in WCW first, hence why I said that.
Yes, he was. And all I'm just going to say is, they work so magically. So you've got Tony, who's pretty much throwing out, the facts, the information, both of them, back and forth, telling a story. Boom, 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 boom. But then when it comes to the excitement moments, you got JR. Boom. Quicker than a hiccup. Boom. Roll up, bam, 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 making you actually care.
Yes. In fact, I believe that somewhere out there in the multiverse, there is a parallel universe where JR and Tony Schiavone teamed up on WCW Monday Nitro because JR never left for WWE, and the whole wrestling landscape was very different as a result. Because can you imagine how much better that would have been if, and maybe the Monday Night War WWE still had Bobby Heenan.
But then again, that would be good.
I'd like to visit that parallel universe. Hurry up and finish that parallel universe and time traveling machine, will you?
Please, I want to hear that.
Yeah, anyway, so do I.
All I'm just going to say is, and then on top of that, as the third man, we've got none other than Excalibur. In case anybody doesn't know who he is actually a great commentator. I believe I've heard him from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and at the same time, he's also throwing in a bit of the independent scene. So you've got two mainstream gentlemen with an independent gentleman on there. So it's almost like you're getting almost the best of all coverage, and they didn't shy away from old history of WCW either by mentioning certain things about it.
All of which is epic. Which, as I may have hinted at, contrasts spectacularly with the latest shake-ups of the WWE commentary team. I don't know if you want to mention that now.
We will do. But I'll say we'll get to that much a bit later. But
I was going to say, you don't want to mention it now, you want to go for it later. Okay, fair enough.
A bit later, but all I'm just going to say is, absolute, what a barn burner, and all I'm going to say is, with AEW even pulled out stops and even acquired a new wrestler on the roster. And
they
it's
did.
A former WWE champion. or
Ooh,
World Heavyweight Champion.
it is.
That's what I'm going to possibly hint at. Oh wait, he's also doing not too bad on MMA either.
I see.
To narrow it down, and his name isn't Brock.
And it's not Bobby either.
In case that interests you, and you think we spoiled it, we apologise. But if you haven't got it from that, then you need to watch that show.
Yeah, basically, you need to watch Explosion. No, Impact. No, Dynamite.
Dynamite. And
Watch
one
it,
thing
because
I will say is, it is so colourful.
really,
It's colourful on the visual senses.
it's a brightly coloured cavalcade.
No, you'll see what I mean by actually just watching the product.
I'm with you.
It's amazing. It's wonderful, and I absolutely loved it.
Essentially, bring on the next however many years of NXT versus AEW, and well,
Wow.
what will happen to Raw and SmackDown, I'm really not sure, but
Wow.
Right.
That's a nice segue into the next point of topic, which is none other than the ratings of the Wednesday Night War.
yes,
Now, the interesting thing is, I'm not going to cover the numbers in its whole. All I'm just going to state is this might shock below. AEW beat NXT on the TV ratings.
was that the first week?
First week. Now, let me just state this. I'm not rubbing that in, and I am not siding with AEW all the way through.
No,
I am actually a fan of both.
and as I think we did discuss this briefly before we broadcast. I think it was last week actually, but generally, more people watching both shows and more people being fans of wrestling in general and competition and both sides winning this week and that week and it going backwards and forwards is exactly what we as fans of the sport who want as many people to like it as possible want. So long may that continue.
Please.
Because if we, get back to the late 90s heyday of the Monday Night Wars, when, the Attitude Era rating figures for Raw and Nitro can be approached by NXT and Impact, Explosion, Dynamite, then great all round for wrestling. There is no downside.
Correct. And rumour has it, if you actually combine AEW's ratings and NXT's ratings, they actually outdid possibly SmackDown's previous week's ratings.
Which is, well, fantastic if you work on the Black and Gold brand or you work for the fledgling Upstart company. Not so great if you're WWE main roster.
But the funny thing about it is it also showcases that people have got a need for the independent scene.
Absolutely, yes. And that may be what it is now, more than ever, now that NXT is essentially a brand in its own right and may start to retain its stars a little bit more.
And reacquire possibly some.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the first person to defect one way or the other.
Well, has it happened? You'll have to wait and see.
Anyway,
we
digress.
We digress. We've got a lot to cover right now, so some of these I apologise if we just don't cover it too much. But
yeah, the brevity of how much we're covering them is just a symptom of how much we've got to get through. So, we can always go back to it in future weeks if you drop us a message on the social media for The Burning Truth and say, you should talk about X more, because if we agree with you, we definitely may in the future.
Correct, but I'm just going to be covering some quick points right now, which is none other than Scarlett Bordeaux is due to potentially making a debut on NXT because she has, I believe, signed a WWE contract for NXT and will be hopefully debuting a new smoke show. The biggest clue of this is the fact that she's been cancelling multiple indie dates as such, and could be possibly going into that. And you know what the interesting thing about it is?
What?
Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yes.
I feel sorry for Scarlett at the moment, especially for her. I believe her fiance, boyfriend, husband, well, partner.
Yeah.
Basically out of the state. Killer Croc. Is it Killer Croc?
Yeah.
Of Impact Wrestling?
Possibly.
Oh no, or is it Killer Cross?
Killer Cross, apparently.
Is actually
According-
her partner.
Ah. Oh yeah, sorry, no, that's in a relationship with Impact Wrestling star Killer Cross.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Killer Cross was not surprised, and everything, and he's actually quite happy for her,
Well, good for him.
showing massive support. Which at the same time, as much as yes, they are on independent on opposite ends of the spectrum with their work. Here's the thing: it's nice to see that they're not letting that split them up in any shape or form, and that it's also refreshing because at the same time it's also allowing them to have unique different time apart, possibly time, and they're still getting time together with each other as well. But anyway, we digress.
Indeed.
We digress. And that's all I'm going to cover on that situation. If you're actually interested in more details, please look it up. Or if you want us to cover it, messages, and we'll most likely try to cover it as much as possible. And one subject I'm going to have to briefly gloss over, as much as I don't want to, which is involving a Twitter message that got suddenly thrown up and suddenly deleted.
Yes, I don't think it should have been deleted. I think it was merely business being done, but, apparently...
But the funny thing about it is, when I first saw it, the first thing that popped into my head was a certain voice going, "Listen here, sunshine."
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard it in my head as soon as I was just about to read it.
Yeah, you remember, don't you, on the rare occasions that I was allowed anywhere near a microphone back in the day, when there was a reason why I called everyone sunshine, It wasn't just because I was trying to pretend to be, vaguely gruff and northern. It was a tribute. It was a tribute in much the same reason why Daniel Bryan used to wear dark red tights.
Yeah.
A tribute to the great man.
The man in charge of NXT, I believe.
Yeah, I also like to refer to anyone shorter than...
Not the actual boss, I mean, he's like a general manager.
Yeah, I also, as a tribute to this fine gentleman, like to refer to anyone shorter than me in the wrestling industry, and trust me, that's a short list, as a little gobshite.
That's dumb.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Burns has dissolved into a puddle of, I'm not sure what, but basically, until he pulls himself together, it's just you and me. So, pull yourself together, sunshine.
Oh, good Lord, that was just brilliant. That is just brilliant. That is something I'm going to have to discuss with you after we're off. Well,
when the broadcast's done and when we're off air, yeah.
That is just gold. That's just. I can only say that is possibly one of the funniest comments I've heard, and I just like that was just brilliant. But unfortunately,
thank you very much. You're welcome.
Got to run through it, which is the fact that Regal sent out a message directly towards the gentleman who runs, who
ran the recently cease trading company, or about to cease trading fairly soon, company Southside Wrestling here in the UK.
Yeah, and basically in regards to the fact that we understand.
Well, he was in Regal's eyes less than professional in the way he went about his business.
Potentially, but the weird thing about it is, it's possibly some of it is actually possibly linked with NXT UK more so. So I'm surprised that it wasn't Johnny Saints who made the comments. But then again, Johnny Saints has got a lot of respect. Where Regal, if he wants to say something, he's going to tell you.
Absolutely.
And he was that much of a villain in the past. All I'm saying to you is, if that man wants to speak, you let him speak. You let him speak. He is none other than William Regal. None other than, the former villain William Regal. But anyway, all I'll just state is it was basically in regards to the supposed bookings of Southside of certain NXT or NXT UK multiple wrestlers being pulled from the show, and Regal had a bit of a retort, but then all of a sudden it's been removed, possibly due to WWE management. It could have led somewhere potentially.
It potentially could have. It never will now because the tweet has been deleted, and they are hoping that
it's brushed under the rug.
It gets swept under the rug, much like Booker T and them candles, and we never mention it again. And if the comment from earlier hadn't done the job, that's just finished Matt Burns off, ladies and gentlemen. He has officially lost the plot now. While he recovers, it's up to me to tell you. If you're still here, thanks. The pre-show's on the network, which you can watch at any time. So watch it when we're done. Yeah, we'll be as quick as we can. But we've still got a shed load more to talk about.
Yeah, because we've actually got.
So as you can see, we're roaring through the topics, but you can kind of see why.
Correct. We are about to pretty much burst through this right now. Especially we're going to be covering a lot of Raw, and yes, I understand a lot of people could be potentially getting upset, and I'm actually in two minds whether we actually discuss SmackDown potentially because it was only Friday night.
It was technically only a couple of days ago. However, yeah, I think for time reasons we might leave it till next week just because we'll do Raw and we'll see how we go time-wise, but we are going to be talking about Monday Night Raw, the season premiere of Monday Night Raw from this past Monday. So, warning, the following conversation may contain copious amounts of spoilers. If you have yet to watch Raw, you may come back to us at a later date when you've seen it.
No,
or you can just trust our judgment.
We are going to have to cover SmackDown, so warning for basically the next, the next few, for a good while.
For a good while from now, and yeah, if you haven't seen them yet, but you intend to, we may spoil a few things for you in the course of our conversation, but it's not intentional. It's just how it happens.
It's due to certain time restraints and the fact that it's very, very limited because there is some big moments on both Raw and SmackDown.
Yes.
And all I'm just going to say is also, additionally, depending on which topic we actually cover, warning, additional warning, incoming rants will be imminent.
Warning, major league soapbox alert and possible loss of our TVPG rating if Matt Burns loses himself and swears, which is highly likely.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Oh yeah, okay, so warning, imminent, potential, strong and persistent foul language as well as spoilers. Don't say we haven't warned you.
Correct, and that's...
Raw
is an absolute, season premiere of Raw. It's a new season, bring it out, and wow, what a way to step up, actually. New setup, new stage, commentators, huh?
Yeah. New stage, horrible. New commentators, untested. Probably going to work out fine, but a little rusty around the edges. It's not a good start so far.
I actually think the actual setup was not too bad. I actually liked it, but then again, part of me is just probably thinking I just want to slide down it.
Yeah, exactly. It just looks like it should be one of those things that's made of Velcro that you take a running jump at, bounce off a Callisto spare stock springboard, and see how high up it you can land upside down.
True. However, one massive point on both Raw and SmackDown. Pyro?
I know. I think and we've got until Monday, tomorrow night, to be proved whether I'm right or wrong. I think that was just a one-off special for the season premiere, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Anyway, yeah.
We've got a lot to cover. But anyway, on the comms, as we mentioned, we've got none other than WWE legend Jerry the King Lawler.
Making his return to Monday Night Raw.
Are you ready for this? I've missed him.
Yeah, I think the season premiere was a sort of how-to of a best of all of his jokes, because I'd heard at least half of them before. But hey, yeah, I had missed him a little bit.
Oh, it goes fine when you miss somebody.
Yeah.
Quoted.
But and alongside Jerry Lawler, two voices that regular viewers to Raw or SmackDown will not have heard before, but regular viewers to NXT, NXT UK, and 205 Live will be incredibly aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, one that they'll be aware of, and one that they'll only have been very recently made aware of, because he only made his NXT debut 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So who are they? I hear you cry. Well, the voice you'll be aware of, unless you only watch the main roster, is Vic Joseph. Commendable job on NXT and 205 Live, and given his big break, which is cool.
Hopefully, even though we're saying new comms, this is a permanent Raw basis.
As far as I know from all the news articles that I've seen, it is, yes. And alongside those two, a guy who was a WWE live event wrestler on NXT. I don't think he's ever actually made his TV debut as a wrestler, but he is now transferred over in a Percy Watson style to the commentary desk, and his name is Dio Madden.
Yeah, and I can also say it's nice to see a fresh team.
Absolutely, yeah. For everyone that just thought, when they heard commentary moved around, they just thought, oh no, is Corey Graves on all 3 shows now? No, he isn't. And Corey Graves isn't on the Raw lineup anymore, which is good, because Corey Graves is a fantastic commentator, but anyone who argues that having him on both Raw and SmackDown wasn't horrendous overkill is a liar.
And on top of that, there is no heat with Corey Graves either. He even stated on a Twitter recently, because a few people thought, is he being punished? Is he this? No, the fact is, he's now getting time to be able to spend more time with family, friends, and...
Yeah, because he's not on the road, both Monday and Friday.
Correct.
Yes. So, yeah, that's your Raw announced team. Your SmackDown announced team is just 2 men.
Huh?
Yes.
It's none other than...
It is none other than the voice of SmackDown from its inception in 1999 until 2008, Michael Cole.
Yeah.
And the aforementioned Corey Graves.
Yeah. Which is absolutely refreshing.
Refreshing, yes, because the proliferation of 3-man announced teams is terrible. Not something the UKWA would stoop to, of course.
But what? That works, though. You work.
I jest. 3-man announced teams work. However, WWE has changed it back to a two-man team on SmackDown because Renee Young is now hosting a WWE Network interview segment instead, which apparently she sees as a promotion and is thrilled about, so good for her, even though I think it's wrong that they had a female voice on commentary and they've taken it off again, but
I think
it remains to be seen.
She was actually a bit of fresh air, and I wouldn't mind seeing her again on there, to be honest with you. I hope they actually bring her back and possibly put her on the SmackDown side, because I feel as though she does actually put a bit of a nice spin on things.
Absolutely.
And as much as I know certain cultaholic make mockery of Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Renee Young, and I believe them boys will have to pretty much make new intros for Jerry King Lawler, Vic Joseph, and Dio Madden at some point.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Renee do actually work well.
They do. Michael Cole and Corey Graves work well together.
And the interesting thing is, Renee probably might do even foster even, it being on the SmackDown brand possibly. But anyway, we digress. Let's just get back to Raw, shall we? And cover some interesting points in the fact that
just as a quick aside, for those that were wondering, the 3-person booth on NXT of Mauro Ranallo, Nigel McGuinness, and Beth Phoenix is not changed. Just while we're talking about commentators, so that's cool.
But then again, I like that commentary team.
Don't fix what ain't broken, is what I say. Right, yeah, let's move on away from commentary just for a little bit.
And let's just get on to WWE Raw. Right, now the original on Raw, it was originally, season premiere, Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship match. Did not happen.
Did not happen for, frankly, questionable reasons.
I thought it was an interesting way of building into it. But
yes.
Why the hell would you put in a one contendership match? On the previous
Your
week?
guess is as good as mine.
Right. And give it to somebody as respectful as Rey.
Yes.
And
I have no idea.
Happened?
Oh, Jesus. What happened is... we are okay with spoilers, right?
Yeah, for Raw, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What happened is, for reasons best known to the bookers of WWE, in order to get Brock Lesnar over as the monster that apparently everything he's done for the last 3.5 years isn't enough of an underlining of, Rey Mysterio took bits of his son home in a body bag.
And himself.
Yes. Well, he came out of it better. He didn't get stretchered out of the arena.
And what my colleague is referring to is the fact that Rey Mysterio pretty much come out, started speaking, Lesnar interrupted, and you got Heyman grab the mic from Rey, about making his announcement, and then Rey snatched it back to then Lesnar pretty much destroying Mysterio. It's like, right.
So far, so predictable, so fine. So far, not a problem.
Right.
But unfortunately,
Dominic is in the crowd.
The camera, which had acknowledged that Dominic, Rey Mysterio's son, is in the crowd, then panned around to Lesnar spotting said person.
And at which point the commentators made comment to it as well. And
yeah.
Like, sit down, which Dominic did, showing that, he isn't messing with the beast.
Well, he didn't think he was. Next thing you knew, he was upside down and hurled over the barrier, smashed into the ring post, and the victim of nearly as many F5s as his dad, and a German suplex in which he genuinely flew 8 feet across the ring.
Good Lord. Now, in case...
Welcome to WWE, kid.
Pretty much. And the thing is, a lot of people can say, is he debuting? Is he debuting?
If that's the way they're doing it, no.
It's possible.
It's possible, but
all I'll say to you is yes, a lot of people may some of you may know, some of you may not know. Yes, Dominic is training.
Yes. So, how far along in that training he is, we don't know.
The only person who I'd probably say is his trainer, which is none other than a top quality trainer, Lance Storm.
Epic. Anyone can do the job, it's Lance Storm. Not to mention, I reckon his dad might pitch in a wee bit, because, he can learn a thing or two from that guy.
But he isn't at the WWE Development Centre, which is possibly the reason why they haven't gone the way that I possibly thought they might have gone.
What, which is...
No, I'm not even going to highlight that. I can cover that. If anyone's interested in my thoughts on that, on my original thoughts of how to make Dominic debut, just send us a message and we'll possibly do some,
We'll possibly cover that. Yeah, a little bit later in if we ever get one anymore, what with Wednesday Night Wars and all, if we ever have a slow news week, where there isn't as much to talk about as there is tonight, we can cover that then.
Yeah,
because I don't think his debut is imminent at all, even in spite of this. And we're not really talking about that. We're just basically talking about, Brock Lesnar and his. He was only doing what he was told, but the whole deliberately making it look like he's going off the script and off the reservation and painting him well.
And I'm really sorry to do this. If you watch WWE Raw and you watch that segment, I wonder if anybody noticed the absolutely outlandish mess of a mistake a certain official or so-called official made on it.
Do you know what? I think I did, but I'm going to let you say it. I'm not going to spoil your thunder.
Yeah. The fact that you got Lesnar's out looking on like, blah, blah, blah. The referee runs over to him and is like, no. One more time. What?
Silly man.
All I'll say to you is, I hope you've been warned not to speak that damn verbally when live.
Yeah, it's just.
And while the camera's
belief. On you. Yeah, defies belief. That on camera as much as anything else.
What makes it even worse is it was almost as bad as when Ken Shamrock asked these so-called sisters to slap him.
Yeah, it's terrible.
No. The Ken Shamrock segment actually had more grace than that.
I know what you're saying. It was dreadful, and the said official / road agent, whatever they were, will no doubt have been severely reprimanded because, oh dear me.
Pretty much. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But anyway, we digress. But anyway, I thought it was just something that we needed to cover, and we've got a lot to cover. I'm just going to get to the major points right now.
Yeah, if we just do a sort of bullet point run through, because we need to crack on.
That we do. So then we're thinking to ourselves, right? So what's just gone on with the main event? So to build the main event, they ended up hosting, having two legends come to the ring. None other than.
And that's not Atman's like saying it in a sarcastic way, like two legends. Yeah, he means genuine legends of the industry.
Correct, which is none other
as guests on Miz TV.
Yeah, which is none other than Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, who, by the way, is still arguing with WWE over the copyright of the man. As
yes.
Well.
And you didn't even let me get a joke in and try and claim with a straight face that the guests on Miz TV were Bastian Booger and IRS, but never mind.
No. There's no point. We've got a lot to cover. But anyway, the interesting thing about it is you got on the fact of Ric Flair's side, he's got, I believe, Baron Corbin and Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, we should just point out, by the way, for those of you who missed it, I don't know if we've mentioned, Hogan and Flair were attempting to bury the hatchet, but of course, being wrestlers with egos, they didn't, and the upshot of it was at what's now become, I think, an annual event. Is it in the Middle East, Crown Jewel?
Yep,
there will be a 5-on-5 tag team match, Team Flair against Team Hogan.
But they're not actually wrestling.
They're just the captains, or the coaches, if you will. They're not actually.
They are the coaches.
Yes.
They are the coaches.
And so, which means on.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, we don't know who the captain is of Flair's side, but we know who the captain is on Hogan's side, I believe.
I believe we know who.
Potentially.
I believe we know who thinks they are the captain of Flair's side, but.
Most likely Corbin probably thinks it, but Orton, one of them, will think it. But then
So yeah,
again, it
so
doesn't
far
matter.
announced by all accounts on Team Flair is Baron Corbin and Randy Orton.
Yeah, and on the
And
opposite side, we've got Seth Rollins who come out to make a save, and wow, he got to be able to spend some time with one of his idols, Hulk
yeah,
Hogan. Stating, basically, I believe he even made a joke about this on the Bomb, stating that, Miz, come on, control your show.
yes,
Tried to steer it back, and just as you think that, them pair were thinking, Rollins on his own, we can just beat him up now. For
surprise, surprise.
Rollins, partner comes down.
Rollins was saved by someone else who is on the team.
For who is Rusev Maska.
The Bulgarian Brute, no less.
Yeah. Come down, make the save, and then he made an announcement.
Kind of undoing all the good work of making the save, really. Saying that, since the main event was scheduled to be an Universal title match and Rey Mysterio was tending to his son in the hospital.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm back. Can I have a go?
Which did bring that bit of an idea of concepts, because there's a funny moment in that match I'll be covering most likely before I get angry.
It might be one of the things that lead you up to the boiling point. We'll see.
Correct. And he ended up, basically, that's pitching, future partners against each other, which is interesting because WWE do that all the time. It's not something that's hidden or anything. But then, Rusev in the main event for Raw.
I know.
I'm loving it.
Is that a flying pig?
It.
No, it's great. It's good. It's long overdue as well.
And it was actually back and forth, the match was itself. But interesting topic, and I'll mention a blooper that was off camera, but it's already been caught by other people's phones and other cameras.
Okay.
Have you noticed that Baron Corbin is not sitting on his throne at the moment?
To be honest, I had noticed that he wasn't spending a great deal of time sat on it, but why is that? I'm sure you're about to tell me.
He was sitting on it on Raw.
Yeah.
Randy Orton wasn't looking at him for the moment, and something happened with his throne.
Did he fall through it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But he had the the agility to stop himself from hitting the floor, quickly stand up while it fall apart, and he sort of brushed past Randy Orton, almost, trying to no-sell it.
Yeah. Right. Which, of course, was only picked up by a couple of people who were looking in that vague direction in the arena, as opposed to looking in the ring.
Yeah, and Orton turning around, looking at the chair, and just bursting into laughter.
Yeah, and Randy Orton at that point, professionality broke as quickly as the chair.
He basically corpsed, send for the man.
Yes, his professionality broke as quickly as the chair.
Pretty much, but the professional of the guys on cameras was smart enough to not to directly cut straight away to them while that had happened. They basically managed to zoom it in when they were both standing together watching on. Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's a relief. Baron Corbin, of course, who I would just like to point out.
Yep.
Thanks to SmackDown, now has a new nickname.
Yeah. Because he tried to declare himself, as the I am the future. It's like, yeah, but aren't you?
Yes. You're not the future. You're a creepy little bastard. Sorry, no, that isn't him at all.
No.
But yeah, he now has a new nickname. He is a super tough dude.
Which I did not see coming at all from The Rock.
Credit Becky Lynch for keeping a straight face with that.
How?
Just like credit Becky Lynch for actually looking creditable and not looking like basically a fanboy who's like, "Oh my god, I wanted to do this my whole life."
True.
When she stole The Rock's catchphrase.
Yeah, and on top of that, what was so interesting is the fact that on SmackDown, they weren't actually being so family friendly. They actually blurred the lines.
Yes.
Especially when they're talking about private parts and someone being bigger than others if they had them.
Yeah.
And in case you're wondering what my colleague was referring to, the super tough dude, all we'll just say is, for professional reasons, first letters of each word.
Yeah, it's an acronym, people. Come on, work it out.
Yeah. And the crowd started cheering it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you remember back in the days, may he rest in peace, Rosie, as the Hurricane's sidekick, superhero in training. It's all in the words, people.
Yeah.
Acronyms. Euphemisms, Audrey, euphemisms.
Read between the lines. Anyway.
Indeed.
We'll continue on, but what a way to make SmackDown interesting. We will get more on over to SmackDown, but that was a SmackDown moment in its own right.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
The fact that...
But we are far from done with Raw.
Yeah, but we are far from done from Raw, because we're just going to be covering the main event, which is at the end of the show. Right, Rusev's having a back and forth entertaining match. Back and forth, going toe to toe, looking like he could potentially dethrone Rollins.
No less.
For music to hit.
Yeah.
Whose music?
I hear you ask. Do tell him, Mr. Matt Burns.
None other than the almighty.
Yes. Mr. Back for the 17th time to spectacularly fail to dominate.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley. Now,
Robbie Bashley.
What's he doing there? And the amount of times he kept missing his cue on when somebody was meant to be coming out, he kept pointing back at the stage.
I don't think he missed. I think the person who came out missed their cue. I think at least the second time they were supposed to come out.
I don't think it was. It was actually rumoured it was meant to be during a certain beat. He actually went too soon, supposedly, from what has been mentioned. And
I
he
see.
it more than once is what's the interesting part.
Well, anyway, the point is, a huge botch though it may have been, he then introduced someone to the distinct bemusement of Rusev.
Yeah. Now, early in the night, it was made clear, thank God they released Rusev of that current storyline, that he wasn't, by stating he is not the father of Marie's child.
Yeah, thank goodness for that.
Thank goodness.
He is, however, out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah.
Because apparently... I'm just going to say it quick in the hope that saying it that quickly means it didn't really happen.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to... As soon as you've done that, I am going to have my pretty much soapbox rant, and there will be... All I will state is, audio discretion is damn well advised. Because
there will be possibly serious amounts of profanity, and possibly not just from Matt Burns. Because Lana.
Yeah. Lana comes out.
Was the person who Lashley cocked up introducing.
Yes. And why is she there? Smiling,
well,
waving?
Much to the obvious distaste of Rusev.
What's going on here? She gets close to Lashley.
Well, anyone with a brain can figure it out by now, I'm sure.
While Rusev's still staring on, looking into each other's eyes, Rusev's still staring on, kissing each other, while Rusev's still watching, lifting her leg up, while he's still standing there watching. At which point
Rusev... This has now gone on for fully a minute and a half, at which point Rusev has not moved from the spot in the ring.
And we're over, and they were still kissing, for almost about 2 or 3 minutes, and Rusev didn't move. The only movement that ended up happening in the damn ring was when the light started to flicker and the Fiend came out just to attack Rollins. To pretty much end our misery of what was basically happening to Rusev.
Let's just put it this way. He could basically have done a bleep test between the edge of the ring and where Lashley was on the ramp. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, about 56 times. And he just stood in the ring, like the Big Show, with a bucket held to the side of his head, waiting while Cody Rhodes had a second go at kicking it.
Yeah, and was it Cody Rhodes or was it Del Rio?
It could possibly have been Del Rio. Either way, you know what I mean.
Doesn't matter.
And it was equally cringeworthy.
Doesn't matter. Like, I'm sorry, but all I'm just going to say, I know I'm glancing over a main feud pop segment, which is the Fiend attacking Rollins, but
which was the main point of the thing. However,
the fact that Rusev is basically just watching there as his wife is kissing another man, what the hell? Is this Vince McMahon's way of basically saying, I don't know what cuckolding is? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, apparently Vince McMahon's got to C in the dictionary.
Right. What the hell?
Yeah, I know. Like I said, the bleep test, he could have got from the ring to the ramp to lay several sharp forearms on Lashley about 20 times over, but he just stood there in the ring looking like a slightly clueless 70s porno tashed guppy.
Is this happening? Is this happening? Is this happening? That's your wife, Rusev. If this was legitimately happening, I'm pretty sure you'd be pretty much running down there and
I'm pretty sure by the time the lights actually went out for the Fiend to appear, you'd be in handcuffs and on your way to prison, and Lashley would be missing a few teeth. But yeah, you just stand there like a gimp. It's fine.
Or better yet, they could have actually had Rusev leave the ring, right? Instead of waiting for the light flicker, then having him quietly going during the flicker. Have him actually heading up to the ring, so Seth on his own in the ring, which would have made the Fiend attack look more...
Because it wouldn't have happened in the aisle outside the ring. I know exactly what you're saying. It was that thing that rhymes with fustercluck.
No. I'm sorry, but I'm not angry at this. It is an absolute clusterfuck.
Ooh. Mr. Matt Burns is angry.
Angry is an understatement because Rusev has basically been having time off. I understand that, they'd be wanting to punish him. So he goes from Marie, which was a bad storyline, into now the cuckolding storyline.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
You free him up from one bad storyline to go into something possibly even worse than Marie.
Straight into another, yeah, I know. It's dreadful. It's absolutely unbearable. But I don't, to be honest, I have an inkling, but for the sake of the flow of what I was going to say, I don't know what Rusev did, but by God, enough's enough. Give the guy a break.
Give him a damn break. Please. What did he do wrong? What, get himself over with Rusev Day? Oh, wait. So, but, the fact that we're not even acknowledging that, if we were going to acknowledge that, WWE probably get upset. So, technically, if we were still acknowledging it, technically Lana cheated on him on Rusev Day.
Which makes it even worse.
Potentially, if they were still doing that. Which I'm glad they're not now. But the fact is, you just basically had him come back, look great, look strong, and incoming shovel from out of nowhere to bury him.
And now he's literally further in the mire than he was when you sent him away.
Correct. No wonder certain people are, potentially trying to consider switching brands.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I don't, with booking like that.
The fact is, and what makes it even worse is the fact that they're not even going to actually release him because they're actually probably going to try and extend him. I wonder why that is also. The fact is they're burying him that badly in regards to this, which I think is not. It's unless they've got something major for Rusev in the future. Why are you doing this? Because all this does in my head says to me is, oh wait, I know what it is. The fact that Lana and Rusev's contracts are due to expire soon. So, let's make him look as worse as possible because they're not considering re-signing it. Oh, wait. Let's put him through the floor so if they do decide to go to AEW, they don't have a leg to stand on. Or they don't look as clean or crisp.
That must be what it is. And if I was Rusev, I frankly... I would do sorry, tongue-tied a little bit there.
I know. But
I would do a Ty Dillinger. I would go to AEW without a backward glance.
Potentially. But the thing is, WWE is not setting themselves up because they're thinking, oh, Rusev can't make himself into a superstar. He got Rusev Day over.
Rusev Day, a gimmick, like all the ones that get over by accident, so he was saddled with because they were like, essentially, here, have this. Basically, it's a shovel. The earth's over there. Bury yourself at will. And they didn't expect it to work. So now they're physically burying him against his will for him because...
With his wife.
You know,
With his
yeah.
wife. Anyway. That's the Raw rant over.
Right. That's Raw pretty much covered. SmackDown. Great new set. Different to Raw. Not all slidey Velcro. Sort of brackets and the entranceway, which remind me of the sort of half-buried whale ribcage of the original SmackDown set, which I like.
Yeah.
Different sets for Raw and SmackDown, which is good. I was having this discussion with another friend of mine.
And myself.
Kevin Moss, by the way, GPW commentator,
Myself.
and Mr. Matt Burns, about how different sets for different products are good to differentiate them. The only difference between the two can't be the colour of the ropes. It's a little bit silly. So actually having different sets is a fantastic thing, and I, for one, applaud it.
It makes you stand
And
out.
the SmackDown set is as good as the Raw one is awful,
Right.
in my opinion.
I like
Right.
it. The thing I've got wrong with SmackDown, and I'm just going to hit it off the bat, really, debuting on SmackDown. Right. What's the first thing we're going to see? Oh, wait, the McMahons. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But then again, at least they were reasonably short and to the point for a change.
True, they were, but the thing is, the fact is, really, why did you have to bring them out? You didn't need to be there. You could have just had the Rock and Becky Lynch moments with Barrett and Kane boring. Professional.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Professional.
They could have just done that, but they didn't. So at least, let's just leave it at least the McMahons were short and to the point for a change.
Correct. For a change. Right. Now, let's just cover some interesting points, shall we? Just quickly to speed up. Right. WWE 24/7 Championship.
Yes. Why? I mean, I get the, irony of it's a fun title. It can be won by anyone. Yay! Women can win it as well. Yay! Oh, hold on a minute. A non-wrestler's won it. Now what? How do we back ourselves out of this hole?
He is still 24/7 champion.
Still. Epic.
Which is
So this way,
none
be well
other than EDM DJ Marshmallow.
Marshmallow. Yeah.
Yeah, Marshmallow. Marshmallow managed to pin Carmella in the most awkward way to land into it.
Yeah.
Because if anything, it almost looked like she was about to land on him. From that segment. But anyway, we digress. And to have the person with the most reigns, R-Truth.
R-Truth.
You just got marshmallowed.
Yeah.
Really?
I'll,
How are we going to be getting out of this segment? How?
I'll just inform you that the DJ in question is no longer the 24/7 champion.
Is he not?
No.
Who was?
It was regained by its previous holder,
Kamala.
the now two-time 24/7 champion, Carmella. With a video which was apparently released later on after SmackDown.
I must have missed that one. The fact that it's on.
But yeah, apparently.
I'm sorry, but do I care for 24/7?
Well, the thing is, the 24/7 championship is supposed to be fun, etc., etc. But it's
Let me just point this out, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to make it fun, keep it on the damn main product, as in on Raw.
Well, I agree.
Stop doing twists and turns all over WWE, WWE.com, WWE YouTube, WWE. You go over there, go over this brand, go over this brand, go over that brand, go over that brand. It's almost getting damn well as convoluted as damn well a certain, certain game series. It's almost getting as convoluted as the damn Kingdom Hearts series.
Wow. That's madness.
The fact that you're having to go from one product to another brand to another console to this. It's almost getting as bad as that.
It is a little bit silly, it really is. However,
yeah.
Anyone else think that, just once a year, maybe, once this year, an actual match on a show, even if it is just Raw or SmackDown rather than a pay-per-view, an actual, genuine, good old-fashioned one-on-one wrestling match for the 24/7 title might help with it a little bit.
Now, here's an idea for your WWE, and it'll actually work with your WWE damn well network.
What, make the 24/7 title network exclusive?
Potentially, or even if you have to, why don't you just put a damn well show on it?
Well, yeah, the thing is, the amount of times they're flip-flopping the title amongst people.
Or even make it a recap show.
Yeah, just basically have a weekly show. Only needs to be 15 minutes long. Half an hour, maybe, depending on how many changes there have been.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't even need to be that. It needs to be a weekly 10-minute segment, or less, in This Week in WWE.
Yeah.
The 24/7 championship this week. There you go.
Yeah. There's more content for you. Anyway, we digress.
We do.
We do massively digress. However,
we need to wrap this up because we've got like 9 minutes till the show starts.
Correct. And some of us do actually have, need to get some plenty of sleep as well, on top of that as well. But anyway, We've got plenty to cover. Some of the topics I am going to have to most likely leave for another time, but I'm just going to basically cover them pretty much quickly. I'll probably cover them straight after, quickly.
I was going to say, we'll just talk through them now, what they are, and then we'll probably have to cover them next week.
I did find it interesting that we had Tyson Fury on SmackDown. The fact that he could be even lining up a potential feud with Braun Strowman. I will state, I know Tyson Fury is a big man, but I didn't think he was that big. The fact that he's next to Braun Strowman, and they're both almost at the similar height. It was interesting to see
6'9", I think Fury is.
What?
6'9", I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
The fact that you got Braun Strowman saying, you don't want these hands, and squaring up to a boxer, interesting storyline. And then you got the fact that Tyson Fury is basically calling Braun Strowman a big dosser. Was very, very interesting.
Little play on Fury's own situation over the last couple of years, perhaps there.
Right.
A little bit close to the bone.
And then, supposedly, rumour has it that Tyson Fury's got a segment on Raw, on Monday Night Raw.
This coming week on Raw?
Yes.
So expect potential appearances on Hell in a Cell as well.
Yes. Correct.
Interesting.
Possibly, if Braun Strowman is booked on it. Who knows? But it's an interesting dynamic, and one I will love to cover. We'll most likely cover next week, especially with the fact that if he's going to be on Raw, we'll cover it straight
Absolutely.
away. Let's now move on. Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon ladder match. When they originally put themselves in the match, they never even made an announcement of when the match was. So let's just make it the brand new episodes of Fox. Absolute great match, great show, and the correct result happened. Kevin Owens
Absolutely.
gets to fire Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon gets to have some time off, refresh, rebrand himself potentially, and it makes Kevin Owens into a superstar.
And when the current shitstorm with the WWE Championship has blown over, Kevin Owens surely right in the mix as a contender for it. But the current shitstorm with the WWE Championship is something we're going to have to cover at length next week. We're not even going to go into it now because we've got literally less than 4 minutes until the pay-per-view starts. We know you will want to go and watch it, and if we start, we're not going to be able to stop because shitstorm is an understatement.
Shitstorm? I'm covering it just briefly, and I'll keep it short and sweet, and I apologise for the language as well. The fact that you got Brock Lesnar winning the damn championship with what? Oh, look, ding ding, catch Kofi in midair, F5, done!
Yeah.
What the hell are you trying to do? Create another Daniel Bryan moment? The fact that Daniel Bryan's even actually commented on it, saying, I know that feels, brother. It feels rough. I understand. I hope this actually makes you rally and get more followers for Kofi Kingston. And the fact that fans are absolutely livid over Kofi Kingston losing the championship to Brock Lesnar on such shorthand. Oh, wait. What did they do with that? Straight after he just won it, Brock Lesnar just won it. Oh, let's have Rey Mysterio's music hit and have a non-wrestler who wasn't officially signed with WWE, Cain Velasquez,
come in,
walk down and pretty much pummel the current champion.
And make the guy who's just made the WWE champion look like a joke.
Yeah.
I don't get that booking logic. I really don't. It's a fail on every level to me, but it remains to be seen where they go with it and if they can actually pull it from the depths of the gutter where it's currently lying, looking like Kofi Kingston's ego.
All I'll say is, there's no worry from Cain Velasquez because we actually know he can actually wrestle. He'll actually do a fantastic job when he goes up against Brock Lesnar. Yes, Brock Lesnar did convey he was afraid of Cain Velasquez, which is an interesting concept. But did Kofi have to be completely, utterly buried?
No. Here's my take on it, which we'll cover in more detail next week. Right? Essentially, Kofi didn't need to lose the title. These two do not need to fight over the WWE Championship. All you had to do was have the match as normal. Anybody remember that Beast from the East special from a couple of years ago when Lesnar came back?
Yeah.
The main event of that was Brock Lesnar against Kofi Kingston. We all remember how that went down.
Yeah.
It was about 7 or 8 minutes. Kofi got about 3 moves in. The rest was a one-sided blitzkrieg by Lesnar. Same again. Only down comes Cain Velasquez, smacks Lesnar upside the head, gets him the win via DQ. Kofi keeps the title. It sets up their fight. Kofi is still the champion. Those two can kick 7 shades of snot out of each other. Title loses no value. Kofi isn't literally taken from the high he had at WrestleMania all the way through his title run and thrown straight into the gutter. It's a million times better way of doing it. Why didn't they do it? They're morons.
Correct.
Deep breath. I managed to not swear. I'm quite impressed.
I apologise that I couldn't.
That's fine. Right, yeah, we need to wrap up because, like I say, pay-per-view is imminent and we have been going nearly 2 hours. So that's quite enough of your time we've taken up this evening. But you can understand why...
Correct it is, but 2 points I just need to mention quickly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be covering these most likely next week, possibly, which is, yes, Jeff Hardy was arrested again for a DWI. Potentially, which is I believe even Matt Hardy even had a few words to even to mention in discuss in regards to it, which is massively unfortunate for Jeff Hardy because it looks like he's going potentially off the rails again, which is I feel sorry for Jeff Hardy in regard to this, and it's something that we don't ever want to see certain wrestlers fall off the wagon.
Absolutely not. No, we need to cover that at more detail as and when we get it in the coming weeks. But yeah, we wish Jeff well and a full recovery because, yeah, we don't wish that on anyone.
Correct. And then we've also got the fact that Edge has pretty much been on Twitter on October 5th stating, no, I'm not, and no, I'm not. That's basically in regards to the fact that people are thinking, denying reports of his WWE comeback.
Yes.
Yes, he has just left the ENC, podcast, or podcast of awesome. Yes, he has, but he hasn't done that to return to WWE. There is speculation that he has been cleared to wrestle and that he's in better shape than ever. But the thing is, that might not be the case. He might actually, because if I'm not mistaken, on the last episode of podcast of Awesomeness, Edge wants to spend some time with the family because his wife is currently being so busy with NXT.
Exactly. So there you go. I think any rumours of him returning should be taken with a large pinch of salt. But again, we'll cover that in more detail in the coming weeks if any more details are forthcoming.
Correct. And with that, we're pretty much calling that a bit of a wrap up. I'm just going to be basically going through the plugs right now, which straight away we recommend you all to check out UKWA, also known as UK Wrestling Alliance. We recommend if you want to learn to wrestle, check out Manchester Pro Wrestling Academy. Beginner classes are on Monday, £10 per class, 7 PM till 9 PM. If you are actually after details of where to do it, please check out on their social media. We recommend you check out JFX3D. They do absolutely amazing custom-made championship belts, 100% guaranteed look amazing. We also recommend you check out charities like Mind, Change for Health and Wellbeing, Messy for Mind, and of course the Donna Louise charity as well. They do absolutely amazing work. So, absolute credit to them all. 100%. We also recommend you check out bands like The New Breed, Kamens, Blackpool. We also recommend you check out the lighter side of wrestling, Botchamania, WrestleCraft, OSW Review. You're welcome, Matthew, and of course you're also welcome, RD Reynolds. And of course, we also recommend you check out YouTube channels like Phil DeFranco, When Fandom Strikes, Luke Moto, and multiple channels. And of course, we also recommend you check out First We Feast Hot, especially the hot ones. And we also have to recommend another fellow podcast, which is none other than what is formerly known as Geek Week, but been changed over to Pull and Pass Radio Show, which is hosted by none other than Magic Mark Adams. We also recommend you check out We the Independents, absolutely amazing interviews on there. We also, of course, recommend you check out Train Pop Culture. We also advise you all to check out www.babyloni.co.uk, especially where it's party all the time. If you're interested in massive parties like party packages, top player bounty council, magic shows, mini discos, face painting, knit and glitter art, still walking balloon modelling, balloon decorating and fire and illusion shows. We also recommend everyone to check out Kayfabe Music UK. They actually did the actual intro and also the song that we will actually be playing at the end of the show. We, of course, recommend you all check out Turnbuckle TV for amazing British wrestling. For how much?
Just $3.99 a month. That's less than £1 a week.
Less than £1 a week for 30 plus wrestling companies. Need I say more?
New content being added all the time. You're probably like Netflix. They'll probably add it faster than you can watch it, but it's all worth watching. It's all glorious.
Of course. We also recommend everyone to always check out your local wrestling shows. Just some case examples: United Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Future Championship Wrestling, Fusion Pro Wrestling for You. Of course, UKWA, and I believe you want to mention
Future Shock Wrestling, Falling Star Wrestling, Preston City Wrestling, and Iron Fist Pro, and many others. And of course, don't forget, if you want to find out the local wrestling company in your area, because trust me, if you live in a built-up area, there will probably be one, there's a new, wonderful and free internet-based way you can find it.
Correct, and you can also potentially follow wrestlers who you actually like, and also companies on there as well, which is none other than Babyface Wrestling UK, which is for the amazing price of nothing. It's free. Get on it.
It's absolutely free. It costs you nil, and there is no bigger bargain than that in this day and age.
Correct, which is if anybody is also interested in regards to checking us out, the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. You know what's on there. Links are on there, of course. You can follow us on all of our social media. We've covered it enough. We have past episodes on Spotify, and that is a wrap up for this week. We apologise for overshooting this episode for so long, but almost 2 hours. It's amazing. So with that, we're basically going to cut this very short. And we're going to recommend everyone to check out your local wrestling, but please, with mental health, keep yourself, your mental health is just as important as your physical health well-being, so please be on check and stay awesome as always. We will hopefully catch you next week hopefully, depending on how busy we are. But if we are that busy, we'll hopefully get something out to you as much as possible. So we're always going to be getting content out to you. But until
Fingers
then,
crossed. Until then, enjoy Hell in a Cell. Thanks for listening. And from me, good night.
and from myself, stay well, stay safe, and catch you later till next week. And stay well. And
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta for now.